Hey, Philip, I wonder if there's anything about last year's game in Detroit against Matt Patricia's defense that you remember and can use for this week.
Yeah, well, we didn't get in the end zone very much. I do remember that. We were able to move the ball fairly well, 20-20, but had a couple turnovers and penalties, and then just their defensive play against us kept us out of the end zone. But it was a heck of a game, great atmosphere. Obviously, it'll be a different setting than it was last year from a atmosphere standpoint. But it's a good defense. A lot of similarities. Again, they have a few different pieces, but Coach Patricia's been around a long time. I've competed against his teams and his defensive scheme quite a bit, and it's always a challenge.
Bob Kravitz.
Yeah, this is kind of an odd question, but for 17 years, you've been working with the media, in a interpersonal way. I'm curious, in the age of COVID and the age of Zoom, what is this like? What's it like on the other end of the camera to be answering these questions to, coming from a bunch of faceless people?
Yeah, it's definitely been a different year, to say the least, from really spending a whole off season Zooming with your teammates and coaches that you had not met yet in person, that are teammates of yours, and you're going to be on the field with them competing and trying to win football games. Then certainly not meeting all you guys yet either. It's certainly been different. I think it's something we've gotten used to, and really I was surprised early on, and still I think probably should be a little more. I think you get used to it, but of how smooth it's all gone, at least it seems to be that way to me, as far as the way we've adapted to still manage to get all that we need to get done.
George Bremer.
Philip, Kenny Moore said, I think it was Monday, that you really helped them improve as a pass rusher, just, tendencies, things that you see from your standpoint. When you talk to defensive players like that, is it something that happens on the practice field? Do you do it in the locker room? How do you approach them, and how does that develop?
Yeah, it's a lot of football talk, as you can imagine, through training camp, both locker room, on the field, in between series, weight room, all around the building. I've really enjoyed, getting to hear those guys too, being, going against a different defensive scheme all throughout training camp than I was used to. Little things here and there, learning different rules that they may have, and obviously sharing whatever I can to help us. I think all of us, you compete like crazy in camp, and then the longer training camp goes, you start to almost, you end up not giving away, because you want to shoot, you're trying to compete for the day, and then as it goes, though, obviously we all know we're going to be on the same team when Sundays get here, as they have. So you want to not hold back too much and help one another if they can, again, improve in certain ways. So I've always enjoyed that aspect. The guy I probably had most conversation with over my career defensively was Eric Weddle. He and I would talk all the time in between series and plays and this and that and what he saw. So it's been fun to do that. You mentioned Kenny, certainly talked quite a bit with, Darius and A-Walk as well, and Kari on the back end, the corners. I mean, it's Justin Houston's been great to hear his perspective. So it's I think I would imagine that's pretty common. I certainly do enjoy that part of it.
Which TV?
Hey, Philip, in regards to Marcus Johnson, I know you said 83 really impressed you in camp and kind of showed you some stuff. Is that kind of the beauty of this league, that guys that, are back and forth from the practice squad and get their chance, can have such a big impact? And moving forward with him, how big of a role can he have for you guys with his ability to kind of take the top off?
Yeah, no, it is. It's a unique league, to say the least, when it comes to the different dynamics and different players getting opportunities and different timing, and guys are injured and they're gone, and the next thing you know, they're having 100-yard games. So you just really never know how it can play out. That's why you control what you can control and be where you are. Wherever you have this moment, this day, this interview, that's all we got right now. So trying to be present and just take advantage of every opportunity. Marcus has done a good job of that. Shoot, there's been other guys this year already that have done that. But yes, I think his, him coming along how he has, and certainly making the plays he's made in the game is certainly going to, I would imagine, earn him more opportunities and certainly to be a part of this offense and our attack moving forward.
Kevin Bowen.
Philip, individually, how do you like to self-scout during the bye week? And then what was your bye week weekend like?
Yeah, well, I think, we look a lot. I think we focus situationally, offensively, certainly some of the areas that, that have been duly noted that we weren't as up to our standards in third down and red zone, certainly got back to that in the Cincy game as far as red zone, being 4 for 4 and being good on third down. So obviously we need to continue that trend. And then really individually just, looking at the turnovers, and I didn't have to really go back and look too far. Those are pretty fresh in my mind, and just knowing end every possession of the kit and how big those were. Obviously, some of those were on third down in critical times, and not that I didn't know. It's still early. Like I say, you're self scouting in a lot of ways week to week, but and then just moving forward. Bye weekend was good. Certainly enjoyed watching the game. Spent a lot of time with my family over the weekend. It's I always enjoy the Sunday bye weekend, and then the Sunday after the Thursday night game. They're certainly better after a win, but flipping channels, those 1 o'clock Eastern games, they all come to an end about the same time, and they're all over the place. They all seem to have a finish you want to get to. So that was fun for us trying to switch back and forth and enjoy those games.
We'll do 3 more. Greg Doyle.
Hi, Philip. I'm going to like to have a small follow-up after this one, but do you remember your 40 time at the 2004 Combine, and what do you think it would be now?
It's funny. Jacoby and I had this conversation not too long ago. I didn't run at the Combine. I ran at NC State, though, and I think there were a variance in times from a 4.98 to a 5.08. So somewhere in that 5 flat range. I know Buddy Nix with the Chargers, who was the assistant GM there at the time. He told me he had me at a 4.98. So I've always gone with that one.
Okay.
And right now, I think I don't think I'd be too far off from that if I got good and loose. But yeah, definitely not any faster. That's for sure.
Okay. Do you ever get surprised as you're fleeing the pocket, as you're trying to get away from somebody, how unsuccessful you are at getting away from somebody?
Oh yeah. No, I don't get surprised, but yeah, they're coming. There was one in the game last week where I felt pretty good about where I was, and I was like, man, I'm going to be able to get a couple yards, and ended up having to throw it away on the boundary. So yeah, but there's been a few, the one naked bootleg against the Jets early, and then the touchdown to T.Y. that got called back, where I felt like I was moving pretty good. So those are few and far between. I'm certainly uncomfortable out there in that open space, and it doesn't stay open too long.
Mike Chappell.
Gosh, I wish I had a follow-up on the speed factor, but I don't. With the possibility or probability of getting Michael Pittman back, what have you missed, and what might he bring back to the offense?
Well, I think you saw there as he was kind of getting going, really, that game. He had a good game that game, and then he had, catching some of the suddenness that he can do underneath, big and strong after the catch, and just his size too, and the intermediate down the field stuff. So obviously he was picked where he was for a reason, and certainly has all the physical and mental, tools to be a heck of a player in this league. So, obviously to see how the week goes, I'm not sure the exact plan for him. It'll be nice to, at least sounds like, have him back out there on the practice field today. And again, it's just adds another dimension, another piece, part of that receiver group. That again, I remember saying it early on. Obviously, you lose he and Paris for some time, but that was a very deep group. It was a very deep group, and a group that kind of they all complement each other nicely. So certainly will be good to get him back out there with us.
All right, last one, Jim Aiello.
Yeah, Philip, I think you mentioned a couple weeks ago that your boys maybe have control of the TV when you're watching football. They make a schedule. Did you get to have any input and say, hey, well, we should probably watch Detroit because we're playing them soon, or what?
Yeah, we definitely watched Detroit as much as we could, more defensively, just because some of the other games that were on, we were a little more into. I was having to pull him off of the Kansas City Denver for a while. He's been programmed to watch that division for so long. I was having to pull him off of that one for a little bit there in the afternoon game, the later game. But yeah, it was good. It was good. We had a good little system back and forth once we got them memorized. You know, the 700s can be a little tricky on the Sunday ticket, going 708, 709, and not, you know, messing up, because I tell you, if you're late, you can miss a big play. I'm not big on the red zone. I like to see more of the game and more of the flow. But when it gets down to that last few minutes, there's a lot of will and dealing.
Well, the quick follow I have for you is I got a chance to we have Frank and Nick. If they watch these games and they start going, hey, that's a pretty good idea, or that looked pretty cool. Do you watch on Sunday, especially on a Sunday where you have a bye week, where you can watch these games and then you come back to the meeting room with Frank and Nick and go, hey, they tried this, maybe we could try something like that?
Yeah, I think so. You definitely look around the league at big plays and things like that, and you see a wrinkle here or there, and you go, man, that was pretty good. You know, and also situationally, I think is big. You know, you see the finish of Cleveland, Cincinnati, you see the finish of Detroit and Atlanta, and how those situations were handled. And, you know, something we do anyway, you know, is look around the league and how can we draw and learn from things. But when you're seeing it live on a Sunday, when you don't have, you know, your own game to focus on, you certainly pay a little more attention.